Do you know in the last 2 years China has been dealing with a big problem? Yes, poverty. Why are wealthy Chinese facing the threat of poverty? What does China's struggle signify for the world, and why are we on the brink of global deflation risks? People aren't buying as much as before, especially around Chinese New Year, a bustling shopping time. But this year, it seems like hardly anyone is spending money. The places where people used to shop are now empty, and many stores are closed. For example, on January 27th, a Saturday, there were still 2 weeks left until Chinese New Year. In past years, supermarkets would be packed with people buying things for the holiday, but this year, it's different. It seems like everyone has disappeared, maybe because they're shopping online instead. The economy doesn't look good right now. Malls are empty and people were expecting lively celebrations for the Chinese New Year, but instead, everything feels deserted. Even Hangzhou was found empty on the second day of Chinese New Year. The streets and stores were quiet, with hardly anyone around. Even in other cities like Shenzhen, it's the same story. It seems like businesses are struggling, and not many people are buying things like they used to. Some people said they barely have any money left and can't afford to buy New Year goods. Others asked if they could pay in installments because they didn't have enough money up front. Some were even struggling to afford basic things like food and utilities, let alone holiday shopping. The low consumption is evident everywhere. Farmers' markets are deserted, and even though vegetables are cheap, no one is buying them. In tourist areas like Xiamen, prices are ridiculously low, but there are still very few tourists. Even though the pandemic ended over a year ago, foot traffic in some places hasn't recovered. The New Year is a time when lots of people eat pork, and guess what? The pork prices are low, but sales are still down compared to previous years. Analysts say this is because China's problem with deflation is getting worse. Deflation means there's not as much money moving around in the market and prices start to drop. On one hand, this means people can buy more with the money they have, but on the other hand, it makes people hesitant to spend money because they hope prices will go down even more. This leads to less spending and investment, which slows down the economy. Data from China's National Bureau of Statistics on February 8th showed that in January 2020, the prices of things people buy went down by 0.8% compared to the previous year. This was the fourth month in a row where prices went down. The biggest reason for this was the prices of food, especially pork, went down by a lot, by 70.3%. The data also showed that the prices factories charge for their products went down by 2.5%. This shows that the economy is not doing well. China has been in a deflationary state since July of the previous year, except for a brief time in August when prices went up a little. Reports say that companies are lowering their prices even more to try to sell their products. The prices factories charge for their products went down every month last year. China's economy is now in a state of deflation, which is worse than inflation. Inflation of around 3% is normal, but now it's less than 1% and still going down. Deflation brings many bad consequences, like companies making less money, which leads them to invest less and hire fewer people. This means more people are out of work and the economy slows down. During inflation, people who owe money are usually happy because they can pay back their debts with money that's worth less. But during deflation, it's the opposite. The value of money goes up, so it's harder to pay back debts, which can lead to personal and business bankruptcy. There are signs that deflation is happening. Despite printing lots of money, prices haven't gone up. Also, while some people are getting richer, many others are getting poorer. There are millions of people in debt, and tragic stories of people who couldn't pay their debts and took their own lives. During deflation, people tend to save money instead of spending it. This means less money is moving around, which makes it hard for young people to start businesses. When there's no money to start business, it's hard to find a job or create new opportunities. In 2022, the People's Bank of China shared some important data about how much money people were putting into their bank accounts. It turns out that Chinese citizens put in a lot more money, about 26.3 trillion yuan compared to the previous year. This shows that people were saving more money rather than spending it. Then, in July 2023, the central bank released more information about the first half of 2023. It showed that by June, the amount of money in Chinese bank accounts reached 278.5 trillion yuan. This was an 11% increase compared to the previous year. Now, let's talk about why this is happening. When prices go down, people might wait to buy things because they think the prices will get even lower later. This can slow down the economy because businesses might not sell as much and they might even have to lay off workers. One reason for low spending in China is that many people don't make enough money. The proportion of money that people make compared to the total amount of money China makes is too low. Plus, there are a lot of poor people in China who don't have much money to spend. Another problem is the COVID-19 pandemic. China had a policy called dynamic clearing or zero COVID, where they tried to stop the virus from spreading. But this policy also slowed down business and made people spend less money. There were fewer jobs, so many workers had to go back to their hometowns. And because businesses are not doing well, people are not spending as much money. The government says that the economy is still growing, but some experts say this might not be true. They look at data like logistics and see that it's gone down by more than 10%. This means that the economy might actually be shrinking, not growing like the government says. When the economy is not doing well, prices also start going down. This might sound good, but it can actually make things worse. For example, if the price of cars and houses goes down, people might not want to buy them because they think the prices will keep going down. This makes businesses lose even more money and the economy gets even worse. Another problem right now is the real estate market. Some big companies, like China Evergrande Group, are in trouble and might have to sell their stuff to pay their debts. This makes people worry about their money, especially if they invested in these companies. Many experts in economics are telling people to spend money to help the economy grow. They say if people buy things, it will boost the economy. But a lot of people don't have much money to spend. Many people have lost their jobs or had their pay cut. This means they don't have any extra money to spend. Because of these problems, people aren't buying as much stuff as before. This is causing some big problems for businesses. For example, on Singles Day, a big shopping day, sales were down. Also, fancy brands aren't as popular with young people anymore. Since China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, it's been making a lot of cheap stuff that gets sold all over the world. But now, other countries are having a hard time competing with China's low prices. This is making it hard for their businesses to make money. China's biggest car company, BYD, recently lowered the prices of their electric cars in Germany. This was because another car company, Mercedes-Benz, said they were losing money because of competition from China. China's exports, or things it sells to other countries, have also gone down a lot recently. For example, Germany's exports to China have gone down a lot. At the same time, China is buying less stuff from other countries. This means countries like the United States are becoming more important trading partners for Germany instead of China. There are a lot of reasons why China's economy is getting worse. It's not just because of competition from other countries, there are also political reasons and problems with the manufacturing industry. All of these things are making it harder for small and medium-sized businesses in China to survive. In March, China's government will announce its plans for the economy this year. Experts think that they won't set a specific goal like they have in the past. Instead, they might say they want the economy to grow by around 5%. This shows that even China's government is worried about the economy. Overall, the situation in China is tough right now. Many people are struggling to make ends meet. It's a challenging time for everyone, but hopefully things will get better soon. This concludes today's video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means a lot to us and helps the channel grow. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time.